Hello, I'm going to talk about performance cap today in this video, something I hear people talk about a lot and think it's probably something that would be very helpful for people to understand. So what I'm going to talk about is how you can figure out roughly what performance cap is, what it means, what you can shoot for if you're not quite there yet. And if you're over the performance cap, what that means as well. So just a brief touch on the green tree. This does not count for your combat performance at all. This is mainly for crafting and stuff like that. And these two are much more vital to contributing to your combat builds. So basically what you want to do, I have 902 points in each of these when I don't have any points filled in. So what I need to do is I need to remember that 902 number, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in all of my passive points that do not require the fill in to be slotted. So these are all the passives here. And then once I get to this point, then I can kind of explain a little bit more. Okay, so we started with 902, and I have 582 left over. So now I'm going to talk about Slottables. Now, if you're a DPS, you're probably going to be picking something from this head, or over here in this fan area, or inside of this area here for Slottables. If you're a healer, this is probably where you're going, over this way. And if you're a tank, you're down here in the body of the constellation. So unless you're kind of getting down into this area down here for Slottables, or even this way up here is not too hard to get to, but most of the Slottables now are achievable without having to spend, I would say, what I would call dead points to get to them. So for example, let's say you weren't going to use any of these three here, but you wanted to use these three here. So you would have to fill in this to get to this one, and then in order to fill this one in all the way, you had to choose either 10 points here, or you had to fill in 10 points here. These would all be dead points if you were just trying to get to this node. So pretty much the Slottables are easily filled in once you get to this stage of the fill-in. So in order to get all your passives, it's going to require roughly 320 points to fill in where I'm at right now. That's for all of these passives here, covering your status effects and your penetration. These here are for maximum stats, your stamina and your magicka. This here is your critical chance passive. And then in here, your defensive stuff. This is for health recovery, or excuse me, health healing received, pardon me. And then a damage reduction. This one here is very important. I would suggest filling this in as soon as you can. But these are all defensive here. And then there is another healing done bonus here that is passive. So once you have the passives filled in, then you can start filling in your Slottables. Now, if you have 4 Slottables, that's going to cost you 200 more points. So that's going to take you to roughly, so I had 902, then I have 582 left. So there's 320 plus another 200. So you're going to need 520 in this tree, roughly, to get your maximum. But then over here in this tree, we need to fill out this because this one could be more expensive in terms of getting to your optimal. And this one, and oftentimes, is more important in my opinion because this is going to help you stay alive a lot more. This will help you with your resources as well as giving you a lot more defense and tankiness. So just going to fill these in real quick while I'm talking. So we started out with 902 again, and so once I get to the point where I've got my passives in, then we'll stop and look at what I've got left. Alright, so I've got more left here, so the blue tree is probably going to be more expensive, as we can see, because I have I've got more points left over here. So your red tree is going to be more expensive. So you take 902 and you subtract the 560. That means you only have 342 spent over here. You're going to need 200 more here, so that's 542. If you don't need to get any connecting ones, which I don't think there are in this tree, which is kind of nice. You pretty much tagged it where you need to be. So if you take 542 and you multiply it by 3, that's going to get you to about 1626. And what I'm doing there is basically how you level up in the Elder Scrolls Online is when you fill in a level and you get a new champion point, it'll go to the green tree. And then your next one will be the blue, and then the next one will be red, and it will cycle through. Basically, every 3 levels, you're going to get back to that same color. So you can't just go, okay, well, I only need 500 points, so I just need to get level 500. That's not how it works. It levels evenly across all colors, so you're going to need to be at least roughly a 1600. That's a ballpark number. I would say probably 1700 is your kind of where you want to look at. And then once you're at the performance cap where you can get all your slottables on, so for example, I will just show you, like for a beam build for DPS, you want to be here and here and on this one. And we'll fill in this one just for example. So then that'll give you your number here. So now I've spent 520 points in this tree. So you're gonna need at least 1600 points to fill in all of your stuff in order to get to the performance cap. After you get to the performance cap, then you can start filling in what I call floating slottables, which means, like for example, if you're going to use the Wizard's Wardrobe add-on, you're going to want to have stuff filled in so that when you are doing different setups for maybe trash ad pulls and then going into boss fights, you can have something like this right here, or excuse me, this one here filled in for ad pulls. This makes them explode with oblivion damage when you kill things, and it applies status effects. Well, you don't really want that on a boss fight because you're probably not going to proc that too often, and be more beneficial to have something like this over here. So you can fill in all these other ones, and then the wizard's wardrobe can freely slot and unslot, but it has to be purchased. So that's why we need to have extra points, and why it's more convenient, because then you don't have to come in here and do a redistribution and pay to reslot it. And your wizard's wardrobe cannot do that for you. You have to have the stuff freely purchased. So keep that in mind. That's the next echelon. Once you reach the performance cap, is then to start filling in all your desirable slottables, and then you're going to eventually reach a point where the points really don't matter, where you're filling in stuff like down here or whatnot that you're just not going to use on your build. But I'm going to end the video there. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video or found it interesting, please check out my YouTube channel for all my Elder Scrolls Online content. I have organized, created playlists. If you go to my channel and go down to the playlist and look at those, see if there's anything you'd like. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.